Hi everyone, this is Diane. I'm going to be doing some work in my cottage core journals today. I did a little bit of work over the weekend, and I'm just going to get going and get started. So I want to take this old masking tape that lost its sticky and it's all warped, but I have a lot of it and I want to use some in these journals. I did use some on a page, and after I do this stamping, I will show you what I've already gotten done in that journal. So I wanted to stamp some words on the masking tape and then use them in the journal. And I found this set that I have from Elizabeth Craft Designs. It's called All the Details, and it has this daily planner type of stamp that's quite long. And then it has reinforcement stamps, and you'd have to cut them or punch them out. And then some words. That's a different set. This is called Note Pieces. I might use some of them in here too. So I want to use some of these words, but I also have this new set from Tim Holtz called Tidbits, and it would be fun to use some of these. Your attention to this with a finger pointing. Copies of this may be had at any time. The numbers, excursion, just any of those would just be fun. But I want to start with some of these words. And then I'll just set the strip of tape aside and let it dry while I do other things. So I want to do a day in the life. Doesn't really matter if it's upside down or not, because I'm going to tear it off the strip, and I can turn it any way I need to. A day in the life. Oh, I let it slide so it's smeared. Yes, this happened. I didn't stamp the whole thing. There we go. Okay, I got two good stampings. Simple pleasures. I have to be careful because it's warped, so the wavy parts are a little bit difficult to stamp on. It was kind of curved. This is my life. I won't use all of these in these journals, but I'll have them for other journals. And silver linings. No, I won't use that one. How about this and that? First one didn't show up Like I didn't get the whole top part. I'll do one more and then, oops, I slid that one. So that one's not a good one, but this and that. And this is my life and simple pleasures. And I want to do a few of this one, whether I use them in this journal or not. Now with this one, when I did a play with these, I discovered that I need to cut the excess off, the corners. So these may not end up being stored on this sheet. I may just put them in a box or something, or an envelope. Still got an ink smudge there. Just have to be careful not to let your stamp slide, because this is slick. I'll do this a few times. Okay. Hopefully I cut enough. Just didn't want any sharp corners, because the corners tend to get inked and then drop it on your project. Yeah, that looks good. And I will do one more. Let's do this one. Has a number, an alphanumeric line there, and then it says number identification is the name of the color. Oh, that's cool. Might look better in black. It's going to be tricky because this is very wavy. Dropped it down crooked, but the black does look better. So I will set these strips somewhere where they can dry. And I'll show you what I've done in the journals. I added a big floppy crochet piece to each signature. So this one is on the front edge. This is the only piece of this I had. There's one more loop of it that I saved, but I couldn't put this in both journals. And there's where I stamped Collector of Beautiful Things, and I inked around the edges and glued it down there. This one has a folded over edge at the front, so I glued this or sewed this to the next page. Very floppy. And this one, I had this piece, but it wasn't long enough to cover the whole thing, so I added another piece. So each one is different. I added that from the digital kit. When I went into Etsy to link the digital kit in the last video, or in the first video that I did with this kit, I realized that there were two kits that I have both of them. So I think actually there's a third kit with fussy cuts, but I didn't get that one. I didn't know that was there. This is the kit. It's called Cottage Core. And I forgot already, but I'll link it. And this is not from that Cottage Core kit. It's a different kit with vintage paper backgrounds. I made this pocket. I had this card already embossed. So I inked it up with a few different colors, kind of thinking about the colors here. And I used my wavy cutter to cut that, and then I used my scissors to trim the background piece to match it after I glued that on. And I have a tag in there, collage tag. This mushroom is one of the elements of the kit. And I stuck a vintage paper in there. Look at more details when we do the flip through. I just wanted you to see what work I did. Here I had folded up this paper. Instead of cutting it off, I folded it up. And then I folded it back down to have this little edging on it. And I used this fancy stitch. These are elements from the kit, and this is a stamped butterfly on coffee dyed paper. And I just tucked in a flower. It's cardstock, but it's kind of floppy. I don't know if I'm going to leave it in there, but I thought it would be fun to tuck it in. And then here's the envelope that we talked about in another. I've made 2 videos, and I haven't put up the second one because I have to make sure it's edited right. I don't know. I got messed up with all the editing, like confused. So I didn't do I didn't post the second video. So I'm assuming that you saw those envelopes, but I don't know. And I did show this one. This might be in the video that I didn't post yet, so I'm not sure if it's going to be posted, but it's scrapbook paper. This is a muslin piece that I stamped on, and this vintage mesh fabric and some lace, crochet trim, and a digital. I just sewed them all together and then added that on top. And I haven't done much in the other signatures. I know I've done some. Looks like this one just has the crochet edging, and I glued this part down. There's a piece of the ephemera kit, and then I used a Sam Poole set. Oh, here it is. Butterfly Walk. This is where the Collector of Beautiful Things quote came from. And then there's this cheesecloth looking stamp. So that's what this is. And then I glued this on top. Some of these sets of stamps I get from scrapbook.com and some from Amazon. Okay, here's the other thing I did in this. It's a burlap pocket with a pink piece of burlap and a fabric scrap and this little crocheted flower. I did glue my handkerchief pieces to vellum and glued them down. I have pockets there. And I haven't done as much in the other journal, but I have the pockets done and the crocheted stuff. And I did do this pocket. I want to glue this part down because it's floppier than I wanted it to be. I did glue it down on the other journal too. It was supposed to be a tuck spot, but now it's a pocket. It's wide enough that a good size tag will still fit in there. And I probably haven't done anything else in here. Nope. This tore, but I liked it that way. I could have cut this part off instead of the other edge, but I thought I wanted these to look a little bit, well, not a little bit, quite a bit shabby, quite shabby. So I left torn part here, and I will just glue this part down and then glue these two edges down so it's just a tiny tuck spot. I've crumpled up some nice stationery, and I folded, did I already show you the, no, I just wanted to show you the crochet. I folded some of the edges of these handmade papers. Oh, here's the other embossed piece that I did. I just used pieces that I had already embossed. So I used some pretty colors on that, and then glued it to this cardstock, tore around the edge. And I had this tag base in my collection, in my stash. It's just a shipping tag, and I covered it with a very old 1825 ledger page. The writing shows through from the back side, and the writing is on this side. I love this paper. So I just added an element from the collection, and then another vintage, a digital label, not vintage, sorry. And then this piece. I don't think I've done anything in there except for the burlap pocket. So that catches you up with what I've been doing. And this was in just little bits and pieces of time that I've had. So let's see, what do I want to do next? I was wondering, I have this really old wallpaper border, and I wondered if the colors were too bright. It just seems cottagey, right? So I'm putting it here so I don't forget to notice if there's a place for it. I don't want it to look out of place. Let's try doing a rub-on somewhere. Oh, I know, I wanted to do some stamping. Let's save the rub-on for later. I'm gonna put my mat down so I don't want to have to peel this up and put another piece down already. It was a struggle. I have some wrinkles right here. Of course, the wrinkles are right where the camera sets. So this is nice and smooth. The other end is nice and smooth. But the wrinkles are right here. Well, I didn't get all that ink off, but that's okay. Still looks better than the bare table. And I put my marked up mat on it. And I use this because glue comes off of the silicone and ink. So I'm going to take a coffee dyed piece. I'm going to select some stamps that I want to use. Sorry. I was trying to say stamped images, but they're not images yet. So I'm just going to set some stamps here that I might want to use. I've got some doily stamps. I just watched a lady, I don't know who it was, showing a technique for stamping in layers, and I want to try it. Okay. Hopefully I edited out all of that, but I gathered my stamps that I want to use, and I gathered some ink colors. I'm going to start with, let's try this gathered twig color. So I'm just laying down some color to be the space where I'm going to stamp. And then I will stamp a focal image. This is from that Sand Pool set, Butterfly Walk. And this is a Stampin' Up! Set called Just Believe. Oh, it has these pieces. There's other pieces added in here. These are the pieces from Just Believe. These are Tim Holtz ones, I think. Versifying Claire, Shady Lane. This one is Fallen Leaves. I forgot I was going to stencil. Let me look for a stencil. Okay, I selected some stencils that I can use. I don't know if I edited out the part where I said I just watched a video this morning of someone, and I'll have to link it below because I can't remember who it was, who did this layering look on papers with stamps and stencils and inks. So I'm using the tools she used, one of these flexible brushes, and then she used a foam. She used a Tim Holtz one, but this is one that Shel Ratcliffe's husband made, Clint. I'm just trying to decide on a color. No, I don't want that. Let's see what pumice stone looks like. I hope it's not dry. I haven't used my inks in a while, as opposed to the oxides. Oh, it's not dry. It just adds a little bit of texture. Use something different on this side. Okay, so the steps are to rub the color base on like we did with this, then do the stenciling, and then stamp your focal image, and then stamp some text. Now this already has text, so I'm not going to add to it, but I could stamp something inside this if I can find something that fits. I think I'll just stamp kind in there. We need some more kindness in this world. But I could still add a little more text. It doesn't really have to have any meaning, just for decorative look. So I have to look for something else. I'll be back. Okay, I'm just going to use this ledger set from Tailor-Made Journals from Creative Expressions. I don't think I've used this ledger set yet, and I really like it. So instead of putting it on a block, I'm just going to kind of lay it down loosely with Vintage Photo. I guess I will add a little bit to this. Yeah, that really helps. And then there is, the last step is just to add a special element, like she did, I think, Nuvo drops or something. Or just add something else. So let's see, I have this box of, these are all from the inside pieces of spine on old books. I'll just add that here. I don't know if this will tear. Oh, it shreds. Gonna leave the shredded bits there. So this takes a little bit of time, doing this kind of layered stamping, but if you have time to play, it's fun. going to edit some out, so I think I have time to do one more page. What am I going to do here? I don't know yet. I'll figure that out. So this is the second page of the signature. Now, I don't want this to hurt any of the stamping I do, so I'll do it up in this corner or down in this corner. And I think I'll use doilies for this, because it's not all outdoors, it's cottage core, so some of the elements we want are inside the cottage. So I'll stamp this down here and do some of these little ones up here. So I want a different color scheme. Let's see what this squeeze lemonade looks like. I'll do it on scratch paper first. Oh, that's fun. I like that. Oh, that was the wrong brush. It had brown on it. Well, the doily doesn't get lost in the pattern, but I would arrange the pattern to come out further from the doily. Okay, we're going to go for it. I should have done that in a different color probably. I don't know if this is dark enough. Shabby shutters. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, there's our not shutter. One of the colors was shutters. Doily page. We are going to add some text. This is from the Tim Holtz set, Faded Type CMS 397. And this is, I don't know, I think my sets got mixed up, but it's in with Victorian CMS 300. Not sure if that's the right one. So this is what it will look like in the book. You get that part of it. And then when you get here, you get that part of it. That looks quite nice. I didn't add an extra element yet. I keep acting like I'm all done, and I'm not. So what's the extra element going to be? I suppose it's not necessary, but usually when you come up with something, it adds just the right touch. It can be a stamping technique, like a little embossed thing, but I don't know. Maybe a little digital piece. if there's something small. Guess not. Oh, this is another thing I did. I had stamped these background stamps on craft paper, thin paper. So I cut that out and added a little tag and a label from the kit. It says Cottage Core and some dyed pages that will be sewn in. That will be a booklet. A butterfly. Can't get them out. I think the butterflies are the right touch. I just need to find the right butterfly. I think blue is the right note for both. I think this is a Tim Holtz piece. And this is a digital. The antenna blends in with the doily, but didn't look right without it. So it's there. Okay, so that is done. I'm going to have lunch and then see where I pick up, what I do when I pick up. Don't know if I'll be back on video or not. But thank you for coming along today. I hope that you were crafting with me. And I'm going to finish up I have 4 more pages, 4 more of these stamping pages to do. 1 in this journal and then the other 3 in the other journal. So I guess that's what I'll be doing after lunch. Thanks for watching today, and I hope that you are having a creative day. Bye.